Trans activists are pushing gender ideology onto your kid. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a dog. If I grew up in this day and age, Joe Biden would
give me $200.
Inject me with dog hormones.
That person.
Transgender.
Kids are too young to know their own gender and sexual orientation.
Bruh.
But also, if a girl is friendly with a boy, it means they're dating, basically.
Litmaki babies.
My beautiful daughter
Has a hole in her stomach, what the cool.
identifies as a quote-unquote transsexual, and now she wants me to call her bitch. Woke agenda, it's the woke agenda. She's a man, and she uses he, him pronouns. Irreversible damage, it's irreversible. Cancelled. I'm getting cancelled on Twitter for grieving the loss of my beautiful daughter.
Yeah.
Communism? It's a communism. Trans-identified cat girls are in the women's bathroom.
I'm gonna put my cat on the mic.
I know, because I checked under their stall. I felt very violated. How am I supposed to feel safe with cat girls in the women's bathroom? Hello, and Myle's here, and I've officially lost it. Please subscribe and turn on all notifications, like this video, follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Feel free to
Give me $200.
donate to financially support my top surgery through Ko-Fi, link in description. As always, enjoy.
Respect to the trans community. You transphobes.
Trans people are my friends. Transphobes come catch these heads. Trans people are my friends.
Just so we're on the same page, yes, trans kids do exist and they deserve all the support in the world. We see more and more young kids actually socially transitioning and, you know, getting hormone blockers, but that's not what I'm gonna be talking about today. Instead, I'll be talking about growing up in the closet, kinda confused, forcing yourself to conform, and now, later in life, dealing with the effects of that.
I take a shower, I'm triggered.
To be completely honest with you, I don't know how to properly deal with these emotions, how to process this. I'm actually very sad about it and feel kind of robbed of a childhood. I've been pursuing social and medical transitioning for about 2 years now, so I usually say that's how long I've been out. But that wouldn't be the whole truth. I've had many moments throughout my childhood where I've told family members that I wish I could be a boy, but there's many factors that prevented me from actually committing to it. Instead, I just bottled it up.
Me, when I'm Shane Dawson lol.
Hey, what's in that bottle right there?
It seems like maybe you might have pissed into it.
Which isn't the best way to cope with anything. When I seriously began considering going through with transition, I had officially graduated, so I wasn't really stuck in an environment that I would have to stay around whether they accepted me or not. So that was a massive obstacle out of the way. There's so many things that makes transitioning and coming out absolutely just terrifying. It's really scary, and I doubt anyone could really understand unless they've been there. You're not only battling society's expectations of you, but you're also at war with yourself.
I'm the Joker, baby.
It's really not as simple as be yourself and screw the haters, girl / boy. This is something that's going to shape your life, and unfortunately, not everyone is strong enough or in a place to roll with punches because they're coming at you hard and fast. So even though I'm happy that I'm finally pursuing a body that won't make me miserable, I'm surrounded by so many supportive people that I will forever be grateful for. I'm still dealing with a lot.
I take a shower, I'm triggered.
In my experience at least. Finally pursuing your true self also comes with waves of sadness, regrets and anger that I've been holding back for my entire life. I wasn't prepared for any of this. I thought that finally doing what I've known I wanted since 10 would solve all my problems. But as of right now, I'm standing eye to eye with the reality I've tried my best to ignore. It's depressing. It hurts a lot seeing all your peers move along with their life, pursue a future, all while I'm stuck in a rut. Just waiting for the date of my top surgery, all while haunted by my past, and even if I could have gone back, I don't think there's actually much I could have changed. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about growing up as a trans kid in a world where you're not supposed to exist.
So do I think I'm transgender? Yes, 1000%. Do I identify with my natural born gender? 1000%.
To see yourself and I recognize your face.
So it all started when I was born, assigned female at birth, and it only went downhill from then on.
Unrelated to my transness, I'm just a mess in general.
I was relatively gender neutral growing up. I mean, I did play Winx with my sister and 2 neighbors, but to me, play pretend wasn't really gendered. I did so because that's what the others wanted to. In fact, one of the friends that played Winx with us was a boy, and he always was Flora, and was very happy to be so. At one point, one of his guy friends also wanted to play with us, and he too played as one of the female protagonists. And back then, as kids, you don't really think about it at all. Their parents and our parents knew that our guy friend always played as girl characters when we played as Winx or as trolls. And I can't remember them ever saying anything that would hint at that even being odd or unusual. So, of course, none of us thought much of it, like, it was nothing. Now that I'm older and tainted by social norms, I've realized how cool that actually was. To me, that kind of proves that gender is socialized. I do, however, also remember having a strong desire to pretend to be guys whenever we played as more gender neutral series. For example, when we played Jimmy Neutron, I want to be Sheen.
Stopping out the store, Gucci bracelet.
And when we played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and I didn't want to be Raphael, the others told me that I could be April, and that is my first and most vivid memory of social dysphoria. So yeah, that's cool.
He's a phantom.
When we played Danny Phantom, I remember feeling immense jealousy towards our one guy friend because he of course played Danny, and I really wish that was me. I'm still jealous about it. I want to be Danny Phantom. But kids grow up, and we grow ever so more burdened by the gendered social expectations. We hit puberty, and that's when our biology becomes a massive issue for trans youth. I've told this story before in a previous video, but it's relevant here. I was chubby as a kid, and around 10, I jokingly told my mom that I was so chubby I had boobs.
That's right, my jokes sucked even back then.
To which she told me that I'm around the age where I start developing, and that's scary even to a cis kid. To a trans kid, that's a nightmare, that's nightmare fuel. So I developed a need to cope.
No, I don't mean erectile dysfunction.
I didn't have the words for it back then. All I could tell them was that I didn't like the fat on my legs, and I was terrified of growing breasts, which was chalked up to my ED. Our understanding of EDs were and still are terrible to this day. They thought of the stereotype where someone who's really skinny saw a fat person. I knew I was skinny, most of us do, and I didn't actually want to be skinny because I was absolutely miserable. Not liking the fat on my thighs had nothing to do with me thinking I was fat. What I meant was that I hated the feminine fat distribution, and the only solution was starvation. Can't have feminine fat distribution if there's no fat to distribute in the first place. So yeah, I lost a lot of my early teenage years to an intense eating disorder that still affects me to this day. It's too late now, but I can't help but wonder if being educated about trans people, knowing that it was a thing, and if I could transition safely, maybe I would have come out and we could have treated the root of the issue rather than just force-feeding me. Even if I would have had language and understanding to officially come out back then, there's no guarantee that I would have gotten access to hormone blockers, cause trans healthcare here absolutely sucks!
Disgusting!
Maybe it's a waste of time and energy to dwell on all the what ifs, but I can't help but wonder how different my life would have been if I had the option. I would have been spared a lot of time, a lot of pain, and maybe just maybe, I wouldn't be the massive wreck I am today. But if I wasn't, I wouldn't be here on YouTube, so you're welcome. All I can hope for is better trans healthcare and more awareness, understanding and acceptance to prevent another trans kid from having to go through what I did. Because I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. It sucks.
Balls XD.
But I've struggled with more than just my body. I've struggled with the social aspect too. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not socially inept. I can mask really well.
Me when I'm mummy when you when I'm neurodivergent.
However, in case you didn't notice, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in and I don't want to fit in. Have you ever seen me without this stupid hat on? That's weird, and I feel like that's more of a me problem rather than being trans. But being trans certainly didn't help. At the moment, I'm grieving my lost boyhood, and in all honesty, I don't know if I could have had it, even if I came out earlier. Like, even after learning and understanding what being trans really was, I didn't really identify with it. I didn't want to be a trans boy, I wanted to be a boy, just a boy. And the only way I could get that authentic experience was if I was stealth, which wasn't much of an option for me. Don't get me wrong though, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being trans, and there's nothing wrong with feeling like that's a huge part of your identity. Like, who am I to tell you that? I've got an entire channel talking about it. At the time, I knew I would definitely get bullied at my school if I came out as trans. And even if my closest friend group had been okay with it and even used my preferred name and pronouns, back then already, I was aware that there's a difference between being gendered correctly and being seen as your true gender. I would rather pretend to be a girl than transition and be made to feel like I still don't belong, and realize that I've fallen short of what I was truly trying to achieve. I've had multiple friend groups throughout the years, gone from all girls to all boys. I've always been a tomboy, and not like other girls, I like boy stuff. I didn't really fit in with the girls, but they accepted me the same. My one regret is always trying to assert my masculinity and dominance by hating on anything that was popular amongst girls, like One Direction. I hated them simply because girls like them and I'm not girly, unlike my friends. When it came to my all-boy friend group, it just makes me sad. We were around 14 back then, and I got to hang out with them. I was one of the boys, as one might say. Maybe this is just my experience, but I was a bit of an outsider. I was their friend, but I was still just a girl. I look back at this group of friends with a lot of sadness, because they had exactly what I wish I had. A boyhood. They were Boy Scouts. I never joined the Scouts. I wish I would have, but I still wouldn't be a Boy Scout. They played video games together. I was never invited because at the end of the day, I was just a girl. This might sound really ridiculous, but something that will never fail to make me cry whenever I'm sad about not getting to experience my teenage years as a boy is remembering how I didn't get to play Minecraft with my guy friends. They told me I couldn't play with them because at the end of the day, that was a boys' activity, and I'm just a girl. Like, man, that just hurts, and I highly doubt coming out as trans would have changed how they view and interact with me. I would still not be a part of them. Instead, I would have been a freak, a confused freak. I just wanted to play Minecraft with the boys, dude. What the hell? Every other year, I broke down crying to my mom, telling her that I wanted to be a boy. She's a wonderful mother, but she's not a wizard. If I didn't even know what's going on, then how the hell would she? I believe at one point when I was crying about it, the prospect of being trans was brought up, and I said I didn't want to be trans because I wanted to be a real boy. She went on about how medicine has come a long way and there's surgeries to get all the parts I want. I still told her that I didn't want to be trans, but I wish I was born a man. That's really confusing. But I didn't have the vocabulary to explain that I didn't want to go through the social transition and trying to fit in. It's definitely not as simple as just changing yourself and suddenly everything is good. People suddenly see you as a boy because you said so. I knew there's sacrifices I would have to make, and I just wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready to deal with the issue of changing rooms and public toilets. I wasn't ready to deal with any of it. So I just didn't. I'm so tired of hearing people say, be yourself, and anyone who doesn't like it wasn't worth your time in the first place, because it's so much more than that. It's not like getting a tattoo that some people might judge you for. This is something that can seriously affect your entire life, and being a small kid, not being sure in what direction your life is heading, it's a difficult decision to make, because you don't know if coming out is worth the risks yet.
How many genders are there?
I don't know, I just got here.
Anyways, what I've learned from growing up as a trans kid is that gender is absolute bullshit. It's harmful, and kids deserve to know what they're feeling and feel safe enough to do something about it. Normalize being trans, normalize gender neutrality. I don't want trans kids to feel like being themselves might affect their future in a negative way. It should be about what makes them happy, not what the surrounding is comfortable with. Cross every line if you have to, crush the binary. When I'm done with society, gender will be a thing of the past. Like and subscribe. Bye.